So I'm starting off by just showing you a couple of pots of honey. This honey, of course, is the liquid runny honey, which is the honey as it comes out of the comb. And then we've got honey that's crystallized. It's the same floral source, it's clover actually, but you've got one honey that looks so white or creamy, and this one here that's looking very much like gold liquid. Your bees will be doing a similar job to my bees. There's no difference there, but there's a lot of difference in the way that honey is prepared from the time it's harvested to the time it gets on the shelf. And I want to show you a few steps of how to do the best you can to present it for the shop shelf or for your own table. Here is, I'm actually mixing some honey together. This is liquid clover, and I'm mixing it to clover that's crystallized already. And this clover has been here a few days now. I can still move it with the stirring rod, the stainless steel stirring rod. I'm going to mix now some liquid honey to it. So what I'm doing is I'm extending the honey. I'm actually adding the liquid to the crystallized honey, which now becomes the starter honey. And I'm going to blend the two together. So this is part of the artistry or the craftsmanship that goes into preparing a pot of honey. The honey at the bottom of the pail here is my starter. I've added the liquid to it, mixing the two together so that the whole batch becomes crystallized. So I'm just quietly, gently stirring it like this, bringing up the crystallized honey from the bottom, stirring it in with the liquid, and my aim is to get a nice even colour, perfect blend of the two. It's going to take a few minutes, so while I'm doing this I'm going to do a little bit of chatting with you. I'm not adding anything more to the honey to make it white. Some people think that you add icing sugar and anything else to make the difference between the liquid honey and the creamy looking honey. But no, it's just a natural process of crystallization. Now it works out really well if the temperatures are what I call chill temperatures. Not as cold as the fridge and not too hot, not above 20 degrees for example. But there's a middle range of temperatures that the crystallization process works really well, and the crystals that form are just fine, very fine crystals, so that when you open a pot of honey it's a smooth texture in your mouth. That's why some people call it a creamed honey, but it's really not a proper term in beekeeping ways. The proper term here is crystallized honey, or even granulated honey, because what's happening is that crystals are forming. That starter honey is spread right through the batch, and the whole batch crystallizes around the very fine crystals that are already there. So it's going pretty well. It's mixing up pretty well so far. I'm going to just keep going though. I try always to get it as perfect as I can. Because while I'm doing this, I'm actually judging it. I'm sort of thinking, well, is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything basically not right yet? Not in order? So I'm stirring it so that it's a perfect blend of the two. A crystal has to form around a nucleus. That's what I learnt when I was in my student days. A crystal is formed around a nucleus, and the nucleus that I'm giving is the crystallized honey that's already there. And in these cool conditions, the process of changing, the process of those crystals forming, it's a slow process, and it gives you that nice smooth texture in the mouth, on the tongue. When a judge opens a pot of honey and he takes a sample out of the honey just to check it, he's not really checking it for flavour or colour or anything like that. That's just according to nature and according to the nectars that the bees have gathered. What he's trying to see is how that honey has been presented, and he's looking for a very smooth textured honey. That's one of the points that he's looking for, to judge one honey against another. So a lot of that is just in the craftsmanship of the beekeeper, how he handles the honey from the time he harvests it out, or gets it out of the extractor into the honey pot.